Well, hello, this is Ken Lovern. I'm here with Rod Fleeman, and we're here to talk about a lot of things, but most directly, we're going to talk about the upcoming Rod Fleeman Trio release for Volume 3 of Saturday Afternoon at Green Lady Lounge. And that CD release event is going to be when? On a Saturday afternoon?
July 27th.
July
27th. 2:30 to 5:30.
And that's your regular gig.
That is the regular slot. Mm-hmm.
That gig's sort of really the thing from which all of these releases have come, right?
Unbelievable. My thanks to John Scott and you and the whole staff to make this possible, because I've been a sideman for many years, and to actually have something out under my own name,
right?
It took a long time to get there, and now I feel like I'm making up for lost time.
Nice. Well, and we're going to focus a lot on Volume 3 because that's the upcoming release event here on July 27, 2024. But I think it's really remarkable that there's already been 2 other volumes, right? And we're going to record Volume 4 later this summer.
I know. It's amazing.
That and maybe just give us a little synopsis of each volume in terms of because they each kind of have their own character. You know, you've got the same musicians on Volume 2, 3, and upcoming on 4. Volume 1 was Todd Strait was on drums instead of Ray DeMarchi, but Gerald's been on all of them.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah, Gerald Spaits has been the bass player on all of them. But yeah, let's start with Volume 1 and just give us, sort of your take on what makes each one unique, or what you remember about them.
You know, Volume 1 was recorded, but then it kind of got, got pushed
back.
It got COVID pushed everything back.
Right.
And then I think you were talking about, that it held up well when you would hear it on Green Lady Radio.
Right.
And so that was the first one to come out, and there were not as many original tunes on that one. The Volume 2 and the subsequent volumes have more original songs.
Well, and they were your compositions, but they were based on standard changes, right? Because we've got
somewhat.
Yeah.
I think you had Tea Time Blues, is just a blues form.
Right. Prince, based on
Someday My Prince Will Come.
Somewhere West of the Moon, based on
East of the Sun.
Right. So
yeah,
they're all originals, but you were still playing standard changes more.
Right. So I really credit the Saturday afternoon gig on a weekly basis, and to the need to do original material.
Right.
To really, it brought a lot out of me that was probably there all the time, but it just needed some nudging.
Sure. And yeah, after when we were doing video, streaming shows from Black Dolphin here. We started doing all original music.
Yeah.
And when things started to open back up, I remember John wanted to keep that going. And then we've continued that.
Well, I think it's fantastic, and I always make mention on Saturday afternoon that, you're hearing something you won't hear anywhere else, and that is all original Kansas City jazz music, because we're all Kansas City players. We all come from the tradition of Kansas City, and it's all original, so it's unique, one of a kind.
Right. And my take on that was, Volume 1, a lot of those tunes you'd been playing for years, but then Volume 2, most of these tunes, and correct me if I'm wrong, but most of these tunes I think you had composed basically as for that gig, and as you were doing all original music. These are all fairly recent compositions on Volume 2, aren't they?
Yeah, let me take a look just to
refresh your recollection.
Yes. There's many here that are newer songs.
Right.
Then there's some like Django's Dream and Goodbye that had been around a while,
right.
and Karina, which had been around a while too.
Okay.
So those songs I had written some time ago, but finally I had the chance to, go back and revisit them and then incorporate them into our music.
And that was the first one that had Ray DeMarchi on drums.
Right.
So you have a CD that's got the band that's on stage that day, which I think is always nice. When people come up to buy a CD, it's nice, is it you guys doing it? It's always nice to be able to say, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the new release, Volume 3, tell us about the tunes. Are these mostly newer tunes?
Yes, Two of a Kind is a very recent tune, relatively speaking. One Summer Night, Due West, yeah, those are all new. Just One More Time with You is older, and yeah, but for the most part, they're newer songs.
And Brian Baggett and I have talked about this some, how it just really seems with each volume, your composing becomes more and more a feature of the releases.
Oh.
On the first one, I think it's a great players record. The solos are great, the playing's great, but by the time you get to volume 3, it just seems like it's more about the compositions, from a listener point of view, I guess.
Yeah, I could see that, yeah.
Well, and let's talk about a few of those specific tunes on volume 3. Track 1 is Two of a Kind. Tell us about that.
Well, as we were talking about earlier, it's kind of unique that the feature track is a ballad.
Right. You don't usually start track 1 with a slower tune.
Right, exactly. But I think it's a very unique song, and the feedback has been very strong with that. So it felt like the right thing to do.
Well, I remember when we were talking about what order the songs going to be on the CD. Even Robert Rebeck, who mixed it, he was like, "That's a beautiful song." He was like, "That's just gorgeous." And we talked about maybe putting Due West or a more upbeat, more of a swinging tune, more maybe representative of what you guys play over the course of a gig for track 1. But we all felt like Two of a Kind was such an evocative track, and just so beautiful that it really should be featured.
It's funny when I wrote it, it was kind of like on the spot kind of thing. It wasn't. I didn't have to labor over it. It just kind of came out. Mm-hmm. Which is great when that happens.
Right.
It doesn't always happen, but
the good ones seem to almost channel through you.
Right. And so when I wrote it, I thought, where's this coming from? Because it felt very emotional and very deep, and I realized when I thought about it, it was about Renee, my wife, who passed away a few years ago, and that it kind of, in a way, kind of reflected our life together.
Right.
The good times and the sad times, so that it took me for a while just to realize where it was coming from. And Django's Dream, I thought when I wrote that, I thought, well, Django's Dream, what am I presuming here? What am I? And it's now gotten to a point where there's the 2 sections, and now there's a brand new opening section.
Oh my God, you added more to it.
I've added more to it, and it's but it's really, to me, it's reflective of how he had to overcome the odds. He was very badly injured in a fire. Mm-hmm. Both his legs were very badly burned, and his left hand. So they wanted to amputate his legs. They told him he'd never play the guitar again. He refused to have his legs amputated, and he proved everybody wrong about his being able to relearn the guitar. Mm-hmm. And so that whole thing is. It's 3 sections now, and I describe it as being like sorrow, thinking that he'd lost the thing that he loved most, which is music, mm-hmm. and then hope, which is the next section, and then redemption, which is the last section, is when we get to solo and play and frolic.
Another track that honors a great guitarist is Due West for Wes Montgomery.
Yes.
Tell us about Due West.
Well, Wes was the first jazz guitarist that I really idolized, right.
And still do.
Oh, and still do. I mean, I got to see Wes play. Wow. Very fortunate that I was at the Jazz Festival here in Kansas City.
68.
Where he played shortly before he died.
I got the bootleg of that.
Yeah. And it's Wes was such a unique player, and I gravitated to the octaves, and I think the octaves, it causes you to play up and down the neck more, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it kind of, I wasn't born with a golden ear, like some players have that amazing ear, perfect pitch, and all that. I didn't have that, so for me, when I started playing octaves, I could kind of see the distances between intervals.
Be more of a visual learner.
It helped my ears out a lot, because you can hear music with your eyes.
That's right, because you can see the relationships on the fretboard or a keyboard.
Okay.
Well, we got pretty far afield from Wes Montgomery, but that's good stuff. So tell me a little bit more about Due West.
I think Mingus, one of the greatest jazz composers of all time, he unashamedly said that he wrote Ellington was his role model, and he wrote in that Ellington style.
Right.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with channeling certain things and all that, especially when you're honoring them. You're wanting to honor them. So
that's right. Well, and you've got another tune that's Some Steps. Right.
Some Steps, a little humbler, a little more humble title than Giant Steps, but it is based on Giant Steps
By John Coltrane.
Yeah. And I wanted to, which is an incredible song, but it's very angular. The chord progression is very pentatonic oriented, and I wanted to write something that was just kind of like the opposite. Still use the same chord structure, but do it in a way that makes it more
smooths out the melody. The melody helps smooth out those changes a little bit.
More of almost a singable kind of melody, and then kind of reharm the second half of it with more like folky kind of chords, triads over bass notes kind of thing, and so yeah, I think that turned out in a nice way. It was being something different.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Are there any other tunes on Volume 3 that you want to highlight for us?
Let's see. Great Scott, that's dedicated to John Scott, and that's a fun minor kind of thing. And then the Invite features Gerald Spaits. I wrote it as a feature for him, and so he plays most of the melody, which is kind of unique to have the bass player play the melody.
Right.
And
he's a very melodic bass player.
And then Wing Ding has become sort of our break tune.
That's your big closer.
That's a big closer because it's a sing along, so to speak. The words are real simple. Wing Ding.
That's nice. Yeah. So those are all such great tunes. So excited about this Volume 3 coming out. I'm glad, I just think it's so cool that you've got 1, 2, and 3. I mean, so congratulations for getting all those done.
Oh, thanks. I'm excited. It's just a dream come true, really, to make a statement, put your stuff out there, and it's very rewarding. I've always enjoyed being a sideman because in a way there's less pressure when you're a sideman.
Right.
But there's a part of me that really is relishing this moment. That is like, wow, I've got some stuff out, and it's becoming somewhat of a body of work.
Right. I think that's a good that's a good phrase for the fact that And so we're getting ready to record Volume 4.
I know. I'm already working on the list, and I'm checking it twice.
And later this summer, so that's coming right up.
I know.
And then, do you have any previews for us about Volume 4?
Oh, let's see. Well, a lot of the things I'm writing, I'm tending to think about Kansas City. So I want to write songs that kind of reflect Kansas City, that promote Kansas City and our past and our heritage. So, if somebody says our best days are behind us, that Count Basie left here in 1936, I think, to go to New York and become world famous, of course. But I don't feel that way. I feel like Kansas City jazz is a living thing that, I got a chance to work with Jay McShann. I got a chance to work with Claude Williams.
Right, I got to play with Claude,
And we're all affected by that. I mean, it's in our blood.
Yeah.
And so I may have said this before in a previous time with you, but the best compliment I ever got from anybody was a great drummer, Louis Nash, in New York.
A lot of recordings.
And I played a week at Birdland, it was Carr and Allison's gig. And we got done with the first set, and he came over and he smiled at me and he said, "Man, I can tell you're from Kansas City."
Right.
And that was, to me, the best compliment ever.
Yeah. Well, there's just such great songs. You take a lot of the inspiration that the music we've been bequeathed by the predecessors, and really, but you know, you really turn it into, you know, it's got your own stamp on all that stuff. You know, like that's one thing I noticed. I think too, as the recordings have, you know, continued, Volume 2 and Volume 3, they almost become more, to my mind, kind of in some ways, kind of become more unified. Mm-hmm. You know, it all becomes more unified the more you do it. You know, it gets more of a Rod Fleeman signature. You know, especially as a composer, I think.
Well, thank you.
know.
I appreciate that. That certainly is a goal.
Right. Yeah, well, I think you're accomplishing it, so excited about what's to come.
Oh, thanks, Ken. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you and the Green Lady and the Black Dolphin and John Scott, the whole staff, the whole family.
Right.
It's fantastic what's going on here and what you know what's being promoted. You know, which is Kansas City.
Right.
Kansas City, baby.
Right. Yeah, the musical culture that's been around for quite a while.
Yeah, that's right.
And hopefully will be for a lot longer.
Amen.
Thanks so much, Rod.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah, man.